Hey guys, welcome to episode 9, I think it is, of the Blue Mouse podcast. I'm Emily. I'm the full-time knitwear designer behind the Blue Mouse. This is a knitting podcast with a little bit of a focus on knitwear design. So if this is your first time checking out my podcast, welcome. I'm so happy to have you here and grateful that you're willing to spend some time just chatting and knitting along with me. If you're a returning viewer or a subscriber, thank you so much. We're getting so close to 2,000 of you, which is insane. I am so just overjoyed and grateful that there are that many of you that care to watch the podcast or care about knitting tutorials, so thank you so much. You can probably hear in my voice I am sick again, so please just ignore the watery eyes and the stuffed up nose. This is going to be kind of a short episode because I don't have a ton to share with you this week, but yeah, let's just get into it. I don't have any acquisitions or new yarn or anything, which is good because the plan is to not buy any yarn or any new yarn for anything other than Christmas gifts before the end of the year, if not longer. So yeah, it's good that there are no new acquisitions. So today I am wearing my Snowy Pine shawl, which I can't remember if I wore it last week too, but you'll see it a lot because I live in this thing. I absolutely love it. It's the Snowy Pine shawl, which you can find in my Ravelry shop, and it's made using Featherfin yarn Cashmerino DK, which is just the most luxurious base. I love it. You'll be seeing more of this in the future, which I'm very excited to share with you guys. But for now, let's talk about FOs. So I finally finished my Hello Stella shawl design. So this is what it looks like. I'm so happy to have this one finished. It has been on my needles for far too long. Lindsay has been so patient with me. It starts with a garter tab cast on up here, and then you just follow these increased lines until you have the purple part all done. So the main body of it. When that is done, you don't have to bind off any of your live stitches. You cast on a certain amount of stitches here, and then you work it the other way. So you work it down sideways, and you bind off the live stitches that you have while you attach the next row of your border. So it's kind of a fun little bit of a construction because my least favorite part about shawls is the bind off. So even though you are technically binding off stitches while you attach the border, it doesn't really feel like you're binding it off because you're working something else while you're doing it. So it will definitely bloom a lot with blocking because this is made with Hello Stella Luxe, I believe it's called. It's her single ply base. So I know that single ply tends to really bloom with blocking. So I'm gonna shape this really well with blocking, and I think the border will really kind of spread out and bloom and get a little bit of a ruffle in it, which will be really fun. So I'll show that to you next week. I'll have it blocked. But that is my only FO. The colors I used were November Rain is the purple and Shell Cottage is the speckle. And again, that is Hello Stella Luxe, I believe it's her single ply. I'll have that linked in the show notes. So like I said, this is going to be a pretty short episode because I don't have a whole lot to share. I have 3 whips and then we're done. So I showed you the finished other sock of this one last week, but here's where I'm at with the second sock. So this is very loosely based off of the Marley pattern by Cabin 4. So essentially the only thing that's the same is that there's a 2x2 rib. The rest of it, the heel, the toe, everything else is mine. So it's just something I'm improvising along the way because this is just a gift. And the yarn is Little Lionhead Knits, and the colorway is called Across the Great Divide. So it's just this really gorgeous orange speckle. So I'm actually making faster progress on this one than I was expecting to. It's just a great thing to sit in a group of people and knit because I can kind of just turn my brain off. It's a little bit harder with the gusset because I have to alternate between a decrease row and a normal knit row. But if I have just a little piece of paper to mark that down with, it's usually pretty good. So yeah, I just did this little bit of progress while I was just sitting and doing some wedding planning with my mom, and it flew by, and now I'm already on the gusset, and then it's just the foot, which granted, the foot does take way longer than I always think it's going to. Once I'm done with like the heel and the gusset and everything, I'm usually like, oh wow, I'm so close. But I'm not, because you still have to knit like 8 inches of a foot, and it always seems to take forever. I don't know if that's just me, but I'm actually thinking of doing a sock knit along in a few weeks. I don't know how you guys feel about that. Just a very loose, no rules, no main structure other than we're gonna knit socks together. I'm coming out with a sock pattern in probably a few weeks. I'm not quite done with it, but it should be quick and easy to finish once I have the time. So hopefully I'll be able to finish that next week and then have the pattern out in a couple weeks. And as soon as that pattern is out, I thought it'd be fun to start knitting socks, because I mean, I don't know about you, but I have a lot of people I plan on knitting socks for Christmas, and I have not started. Like I have a pile up here of sock yarn that is waiting to be knit into socks for people for Christmas, and we're getting close. I mean, it seems like it's so far away because it's still October, but you guys, it's gonna be here so fast. We're almost to November, and then it's practically Thanksgiving, and then it's December, and then it's Christmas. So I thought it would be fun to just do a really basic knit along, no prizes, no big rules or anything like that, but just so that we can knit socks together and encourage each other to finish them in time for Christmas. So I don't know, tell me what you think about that. I'm just kind of toying with that idea because, I mean, I have socks to knit, and I thought it would be a helpful thing if we could encourage each other to help, you know, finish those projects. I lose a lot of interest when knitting socks. So I don't know, if we're all there to kind of encourage each other, and then that will motivate me and hopefully motivate other people. So anyway, enough about socks. So this is the Brownstone sweater by Jared Flood, and this is a Christmas gift for my brother. And last week I think I was on the first sleeve, and I had, I don't know, this much done with it or something. But now I have finished both sleeves, the bulk of the body, or the entire body actually, and I've joined the sleeves together with the body for the yoke. And it looks like this. So I'm not a huge fan of the construction of this sweater. I like the way that it's gonna look in the end, but I don't like that it's worked bottom up as a yoke. I understand most bottom-up constructions if the sleeves are a drop shoulder. That makes total sense to me. But yoke sweaters are so easy to work from the from the top down, that why does it have to be worked from the bottom up? I don't get it. Sleeves being finished is nice because then I don't have to go back and do them later. But at the same time, now they're just making the sweater really heavy, so it slows me down. So the rows are pretty long and they're worked flat. So the purl rows just seem to take forever. And so I'm at a point where it's like you need to knit like so many inches flat. It's really starting to slow me down. I don't know, maybe that's just me, but I need the needles for another project. So I have to finish this weekend so I can get started on that other project. So I can't lose motivation. But really, the yoke is like, I don't know. I think I'm only probably about 6 inches away from being done with it. Maybe a little bit more, but it's got to be close to that. So I'm going to start decreasing soon, and then it should start to go a little bit faster. And then all that's left is the neckband in the front, and then it's done. That is the really nice thing about it, is the sleeves are already done, so I don't have to go back and do them next. And one other thing I have been trying, let me see if I can find a good example. One thing I've been trying is weaving in my ends as I go. And so I don't mean with like a yarn needle and weaving them in as I go. I mean that when I'm about to start a new skein of yarn, instead of knotting them together, which is typically what I do, I typically would use a magic knot to tie them together because I find that is the sturdiest way to keep them together. But I know that with worsted weight yarn like this, it's going to get bulky, and I didn't want that. So instead what I'm doing, I'm taking the yarn, and when I am about to join a new skein of yarn, what I do is I start carrying the yarn with my current yarn for about 2 inches. So what I do is I go like take the new yarn and wrap it over the strand, and then I knit my normal stitch, and then I go back the other way over the strand and then knit, and then go back the other way. I hope that makes sense. So essentially what I do is I'm still knitting with one strand. I'm not knitting with two. So I'm just wrapping the yarn as I go, and I'll show you what that looks like. So here's an example. You can kind of see how that was carried. So it's the same technique that you do with stranded knitting, you know, where you need to carry the yarn behind it. But instead of doing it like every 3 stitches or something, I'm doing it every single stitch. So it just kind of keeps it stranded behind the work, and that way I don't have to weave in any ends. So I've left myself long tails just in case, but I'm going to block this and then snip those tails and they should be fine. The only issue I've found with that is that if I don't kind of pull it apart a little bit afterwards, it gets a little bunched up. So I just have to remember after I've knitted a little bit that I need to kind of stretch it out. But other than that, that's a new technique that I've been using on a couple projects, and I really like it because then at the end I don't have a ton of ends to weave in, and I can just be done. Anyway, on to the next one, and this is actually, I think this is the last whip I have. So this is that green sweater that you've probably seen in the past few episodes if you've been watching. So I finished the back, and this is what it looks like. So it's going to be a really low V in the back. It won't be quite this low because once I add the like knitted border to it, it will definitely add probably 1 inch to 2 inches of height to it. So it won't be as low as this, but it will definitely be pretty low. So that's what that looks like. And then the front, it's kind of hard to see because I still have both sides on one needle, but I have the first side done. So this side is completely done, and I just need to pick up and finish this side. And then the entire body is done. I just have to do the sleeves and then the neckline border, which will be ribbed. So yeah, it is almost done. I just really need to finish that other side, and then I can do the 3 needle bind off for the shoulders, pick up the sleeves and do the neckline, and it's done. And then it will be off to my tech editor and then test knitters, and it will be out to you guys probably in December. But yeah, I absolutely love it. I can't wait to get that one finished and off the needles, and I can't say enough good things about the yarn. I absolutely, absolutely love it. It is the Little Lotus Lane fingering weight yarn in the colorway Eden. But yeah, that is everything. That's all I really had to share with you guys today. It is not a lot, I know. I wanted to talk really quickly about a new pattern that's coming out tomorrow. So this is the Húsavík sweater. So you can go back and see this in last week's episode, I think. I was wearing it, and there's pictures of it on Instagram, and I'll link to the Ravelry page in the show notes and everything. But yeah, it comes out tomorrow, or actually it will be today when you're watching this. It will be coming out, and I love it. It's a very just classic and simple kind of fisherman style sweater. That's at least the inspiration that I had for it. Húsavík is a town in Iceland that is, I think, famous for whale watching. I'm almost positive. We went whale watching there when we went to Iceland, and it was like this big to-do in that town. So I think that's what they're famous for, but I loved it. It was just this beautiful coastal town. It was really quaint, and it had this most gorgeous, like, oh, I don't know how you'd even describe it, but this beautiful old looking church. And it was just very, very beautiful. And so when I was naming this, I was thinking of sitting by the ocean or going whale watching and just wanting something kind of classic to wrap yourself up in. So there's lots of ribbing, and there's also lots of reverse stockinette on it, so you can see here. So there's lots of ribbing for the neck area, and then there's just miles of reverse stockinette. But I, like most of you probably, do not like purling. So these sweaters actually worked inside out so that you don't have to do any purling for the reverse stockinette. It's all knitted, and then when you turn it right side out again, it's the reverse side, if that makes sense. And the sleeves are worked the same way. So the sleeves are worked inside out so that you get the reverse stockinette look without having to do really any purling. The only purling you have to do is in the ribbed area. So yeah, this comes out tomorrow. I'm really, really excited about it. This is one of my classics in my wardrobe now. I wear it all the time. I love it. And it's just really cozy, and the neckline, I love, love, love. The neckline on it is very classic and simple, and just, I love it. So that'll be out today by the time you're watching this. And that is all the knitting content that I have for you guys today. So if you don't care to stick around to hear me talk about anything life related, then thank you for watching, and I'll hopefully see you next week. But for those of you that do care to stick around, thank you. Yeah, let's just talk a little bit about life, and then I'll let you get back to whatever you're doing for the rest of your day. Yeah, so we got our apartment or townhouse, I don't really know what you want to call it, but we got our apartment on Saturday, and we started moving in this week. So we bought a couple couches and a rug, and starting to make it kind of feel like home, which is really great. I haven't lived on my own or, with roommates ever before, so this will be a new experience for me, and I'm really excited. I've never really had a place where, we get to decorate it ourselves, which is new and really fun. I really like that. Yeah, I love it. It's a 2-bedroom little place. It's really cute, and it's in an area of town that I absolutely love, and I'm a few blocks away from my best friend and a few blocks away from other good friends, so it is a really great area, and I'm really excited. So I won't move in until December, but I won't officially move in until December until we get married, but I am going to start moving and packing everything up and moving it over there from now until then. So my studio, I have a lot to pack up. As you can tell, there's a lot of crap and there's a lot of yarn that I'm going to have to pack up and purge and get rid of stuff. I know that's a lot of work, but I'm really excited about it because I am ready to kind of just start fresh. A lot of this stuff, not necessarily right here behind me, but I have another shelf right over here that is filled with yarn that I bought 7 years ago, and it's something I will not use ever. I've kind of moved away from acrylic for the most part, not in a snobbish way or anything. It's just I bought really, really cheap acrylic when I was first learning to knit because it was all I could afford, and I don't like it anymore. It's not something that I enjoy working with. I really enjoy working with wool. So there's a few women I know at a local yarn shop that I think with their church, they knit up blankets for the homeless, I believe it is. So I'm just going to bag up what is usable because it's still usable. It's still good. It's just not my preference anymore. So I'm going to bag that up and donate it to them if they want it, or find someplace else to take it and donate it, and just kind of clear out the space and start fresh. So something that's really exciting about this new place is that it's 2 bedrooms, and so the second room is going to be my studio, and I'm so excited about it. I call this room that I'm filming in my studio, but it's half my bedroom, half my studio. So it's very cluttered because I have pretty much everything I own, both personally and business-wise, in this room. There's lights, and there's just baskets full of yarn and projects, and then clothes, and it's very cluttered, and I'm so excited to start fresh and to have a room specifically for this stuff. It's going to be really, really great. I can't wait to start moving it in. So I'm going to probably, hopefully, if I have time, start packing stuff up and, organizing it to be moved in the next couple weeks. And all my new tutorials and everything will probably be filmed over there. So yeah, it's just really exciting. I cannot wait. Yeah, it seems so far away. I know it's not, but it really does seem so far away. So moving stuff in helps. It makes it feel like things are moving faster. And yeah, I'm really excited. It's new and exciting. Yeah, other than that, a whole lot else hasn't happened. I've gotten more time to work, which is really, really nice. You might be able to tell by the progress I've made on a couple of those projects that I've had more time, especially that green sweater. I've been able to really make good progress on that, which is really exciting. And I just can't wait to have these projects done and to be able to just have a clean slate and to start new ones. I love these designs and I'm very excited about them, but sometimes when I've been working on a project for so long and haven't been able to start anything new, it kind of just like weighs you down. I don't know if that makes sense. Yeah, I'm ready for like something new and something clean and to get these to the next stage so that they can be released. So that should hopefully be in the next week or two, and then it should be mainly new projects. So I'm excited about that. Yeah, so I have a bridal shower, not this Saturday, but the following. And then that one's with like my family and my friends. And then the following week, which will be like 3 Saturdays from now, depending on when you watch this, will be the shower thrown by my in-laws. So I'll get to meet all of that side of the family, which will be fun. And yeah, it's just going to be an exciting few weeks. The weather here has gone straight from summer to winter. We didn't really get a fall at all. It was like 85 one day, and then all of a sudden it was in the 40s. Nothing in between, and now it's been in the low 50s and upper 40s for weeks. So I guess it's sweater weather, which is nice because then I get to just bundle up in all the knitwear. I hope it's cold and perfect knitting weather wherever you're living, and hopefully you get some fall weather and not straight to the cold and snow. And oh my gosh, did you guys see all of the Rhinebeck videos are starting to come out, and it is amazing. Christy Glass put out her Tell Me About Your Rhinebeck Sweater video, which was so fun to watch. I'm actually only halfway done, and I took a break to come film this, and I'm going to go back and finish it and finish a couple projects, but it is so fun to watch. I absolutely love it. Can't get enough. So everyone's going to start be releasing their videos, and it was so fun to watch everyone's Instagram stories. And I don't know, if you went, tell me about it in the comments, please. I want to live vicariously through you. Hopefully next year we can go. Allie from Explore Knits and Fibers and I were talking, like, we should go together next year. Hopefully, fingers crossed. I know that Vogue Knitting Live is going to be in Columbus, which is where I live, next November. So not this November, but November 2019. So I'm definitely going to that, and I'm trying to get all my knitting friends to move, or not to move, but to come visit here for that weekend so we can all hang out. Yeah, it's going to be just a really fun year next year for knitting. And so hopefully Rhinebeck too. That would be amazing. And then maybe Edinburgh 2020. Fingers crossed. Anyway, yeah, that's all I have. That was a lot, probably more personal talk than knitting talk, but it's okay. Thank you so much for watching this episode. I hope to see you next week. These podcasts come out every single Friday, and yeah, thank you for watching. I hope you get lots of knitting time this weekend. Have a great rest of your week. I'll see you next week.